separate thing to the trial. The e-scooter trial is a separate thing. That was continuing as it would have before. But this issue about Voi's alleged involvement with Russia does concern me. There are reports that concern me. I'll be very frank with Fredrik about that. Fredrik is telling me that he's dealing with that, and I will be judging that he's dealing with that over time. And it's for him to answer some questions now, I think.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
Should I start giving some context, perhaps?
Why don't you talk about whether you want, Fredrik?
Yeah, that probably will answer to some of the questions you're having. So, yeah, first of all, great to be in Bristol. I'm back here, as you probably know, the e-scooter trial here in Bristol is the most successful we have in the UK, not only Voi, but by all e-scooter trials. So it's the largest by far, and it's the one with the highest utilization and usage. We're close to 4 million trips now in Bristol, 250,000 unique users. We're 60 MPs here in Bristol, and I think Bristol, to me, it's the first time I'm here today. It's a very beautiful city, and the type of city that we really like. It's young, it's diverse, it seems to want to go green as well, which are cities we like to work with, so I'm super happy here. To set some context about the situation with the two of our shareholders with Russian origin. First a bit about me, so my background. I'm Swedish, born up in the north, founded Voi 4 years ago. I was also trained in Russian and Russian culture by the Swedish Armed Forces. So I did a language school at military service, where the Swedish Armed Forces teach what they deem to be exotic languages, which might be helpful for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the Swedish Armed Forces. I was trained in that, lived 3 years in Russia, first working for the Swedish Armed Forces at the Swedish Embassy, and then at a private company founded by 2 Swedes. So I know Russia, I would say, quite well. And with regards to the two shareholders here, Alexander Yelisey and Gabriel Bouchard, they have never been on a sanction list, and they're not on a sanction list. I think when we took investment from them a couple of years ago, they were also not on a sanction list. And to me, there was a pre-Russian invasion into Ukraine, and there was a post-Russian invasion into Ukraine. Pre-Russian invasion in Ukraine, we said we want an interconnected world, we want free trade, we want countries like Sweden, Russia, UK to work together to build partnerships, and we believe that will lead to peace. Now, unfortunately, which is extremely tragic, Putin, and as I used to call them, Putin and his bandits, have proven that to be wrong in this specific case. I still believe in free trade and that we need a connected world, but that's kind of a parenthesis now. And I think what I learned when I worked in Russia for the armed forces, what we said already back then was that Russian people and many parts of Russian culture, literature and so on is amazing, but the leadership is a bunch of bandits. Bad things will happen at some point. And I think now the world has woken up to that and understands it as well. So that was a bit pre-Russian invasion. We had sanction lists and all of that, and these two shareholders were not on the sanction list. Post-Russian invasion, I think if you ask any company like the ones Dan is mentioning, of course it wouldn't take investment from an investor with Russian origin. You just wouldn't. But we can also not rewrite history. So what we have done now, I think it was day 2 after Russian invasion, was stopping every business connection we had with Russia. So we were selling some vehicles to Russian companies and so on. We had a small minority investment in the Russian equivalent of Voi that's operating in Russia, Ukraine, and Central Asia. We're selling that one. We have stopped all supply chain activities through Russia, so from Southeast Asia through Russia to Europe. And we have engaged our role in various activities, everything from sending down medicine, from sending down toys, clothes, and so on to Ukraine. First and foremost, we're also taking care of our Ukrainian MPs. We have around 10 Ukrainian MPs. And the final thing we did as well was donating quite a lot of money to UNHCR and their activities in Ukraine, so a few million Swedish kronor. So that's what we've done, and then with regards to these two shareholders, as Dan alluded to, one, what we made them to agree upon was to transfer the voting rights to me. So they own around just short of 4% of the company, so they're quite small investors. They didn't have any influence on the company. Now they also basically zero influence in the company since they transferred the voting rights to me. What we're doing as well, back to where I started, we take money from Russian investors today? No, we wouldn't. So now we're basically exploring what we can do to sort that situation out, while still, of course, respecting Swedish law, shareholder rights, and things like that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys, do you have any